Welcome back to another episode of the free VST Plugins Detective, where I review, test out, and demonstrate various free VSTs. Jumping right into it, this is the dearVR Micro. I want to thank Zeluda, hopefully I'm pronouncing your name correctly, for posting a comment about this plugin. This one is super unique. I'm going to give it the perfect rating of a 5 out of 5. Now, I want to stress on this video, I think this may be the first time, and maybe I've ever said this in any plugin review, wear headphones for this video. I feel like if you're listening to this on your phone and you're watching it, or let's say on TV, or however you watch my YouTube videos, watch this one with headphones. Or I guess maybe more so listen to it with headphones. And as you could just hear from this little snippet, this is a very unique plugin that allows you to manipulate and create 3D audio. I want to stress in the beginning that at first glance, this may seem like a stereo width plugin, and it does have some stereo width elements to it, of course, but there's a lot more, as you can already see from the GUI. So I have a sample that I just loaded up. I'm going to play it without this on, actually, so you can hear it. Right, and now I am going to turn it on. Now, first off, let's talk about the position of the audio. So right here, as you can see, this is mainly your stereo width element. Now, I mentioned that before, of course, that inevitably this does have a lot of stereo width parts to it, but you can do a lot more. So, obviously, you're just going to play around this, as you can see. All the right, left, back. So I can do this. I can also do that with this, right, on Ableton if I want to. But one thing you notice is it's very kind of square the way it does it, right? It's very, like, I don't think I've ever worded it this way. It's almost very two-dimensional, right? I'm going to do this again to show you the difference, right? So it's kind of on a flat line. With this one, I can do a little more unique things. You know, I guess I could also use the auto pan as well in Ableton, but this allows you to do a lot more unique stuff when it comes to that stereo width. And now with the elevation, this is where it gets really cool. So, for example, normal, up, down. And so as you heard in the beginning, I was able to manipulate both. You know, the great thing about this plugin, of course, I can automate a lot of this. Then we have reflections, right? So if I turn this off, it sounds a bit normal. Turning it on, I have a few different ones I can do. Oh, pretty loud. Right, so I can even do... I feel like you can hear the effects of the position a lot more intensely and a lot stronger with the reflections on, right? Then we have the focus, right? So choose the amount of the binaural effect you want to add. And I can even do this one if I want to. Right, so I can affect it however I want. And then we have the width, lastly. So if I want to make this really wide, which can be kind of crazy. Actually, maybe it's not as much, actually. I guess the width doesn't do as much, you know. I actually think I like it better with no width. I thought the width would actually make it more intense. But I feel like because it covers a lot of the spectrum, as you can see here, based off the GUI, it's not that much of a drastic change when moving around. As opposed to this. And what's amazing about this plugin is it's super simple, right? I mean, there's only a few knobs and things you can change around. But what's cool about it is, again, I think one prediction I have, and this is something I've been thinking about a lot, is with VR becoming a lot more popular, and this is called dearVR Micro, with VR becoming a lot more popular, and if you've ever done VR, it's crazy, in a lot of VR, when you're able to look around, the audio changes based off like your three-dimensional space. And I remember the first time I did VR, my first ever thought was, I wonder what this would be like when it comes to music. Like, of course, you have the visuals, but the music, could you create songs and stuff like that where you have different sounds, in a sense, or parts of that song, not just existing on the stereo width, you know, because that happens a lot. A lot of people will pan things to the left or the right to have a greater stereo width when it comes to producing. but now you have a full-on, not even just stereo, but like a three-dimensional element to it, where if I, like, say, move over here, I hear more of the hi-hat, and if I move over here, I hear more of the snare, and I move back, I hear more of the synth, and if I walk around in a VR environment, I'm hearing more and more elements depending on what's going on, depending on how we space them out. And if you're like 3D audio or VR audio, whatever word you want to use, is going to become incredibly more popular in the future. Now, for now, of course, I don't know if they're yet. I mean, I haven't seen any platform like, iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, etc. have 3D audio. But as time goes on, that could be a feature. It could be saying, hey, do you want to release a song not just as a normal song, but as a 3D audio song that has a lot more to it, maybe even more some movement? I'm not sure. So I feel like this plugin is on the forefront of the future of music production. But for now, even still, you can still use it a lot to mess around and create a lot of unique elements, position them however you want, and you can have a ton of fun and make your tracks super unique.